Hold on, that's not how you open a Chimp review. This is how you open a Chimp review. Ah, that's better. Although, I still don't think I'm quite dressed for the occasion yet.
Drip too hard, don't stand too close, you gon' fuck around and drown off this way.
Hogwarts Legacy was a game I definitely had a biased view going into. Similar to Spider-Man, although not to the same degree, the Harry Potter universe was one that I grew up with. I fell deep in love with the Wizarding World, and frankly, prior to this entry, was disappointed at the lack of quality in the Harry Potter game. Except for you, PS2 Hagrid, we love you. And with the last movie tie-in game releasing in 2011, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, that's a mouthful, earning a whopping 5.5 out of 10 on IGN, and when looking at some gameplay of this only 3-hour-long game, it's honestly not too difficult to see why. With the LEGO Harry Potter games also releasing in 2011, gaming content for Harry Potter fans was few and far between. Apart from a few VR games and mobile games, Harry Potter fans were pretty much shit out of luck. Until a year which we would all rather forget, 2020, when Warner Bros. Gave us this.
The choices you make now will define the legacy of Hogwarts.
Pure excitement. For most people. I'll be the first to admit that when this game was first announced, I really wasn't too hopeful. Sure, I liked Harry Potter, but at this point there was so little coming out to keep me interested that, to me, it wasn't even really on my radar. But boy oh boy, little did I know that this game would reawaken the excitement of a young chimp. This was a game that I didn't even know I wanted. A create-your-own witch or wizard prequel to the Harry Potter series where I am the sole factor to containing and keeping an ancient magic. And it's open world. And I can fly. And it's canon. Sign me up. And that's exactly what I did. On February 7th, I took my final look at gameplay. You see, while the game was released on February 10th, people who bought the deluxe edition could play it early. Meaning no more trailers. I got to see exactly what it was like. Raw, no rubber. And I saw exactly what I wanted. A fully fleshed out, detailed world with so much to do and discover that it could keep me invested for hours on end. And it did, too. As of the making of this right now, I have almost 60 total hours in the game, and I'm still not finished with it. I only have about half of the achievements, and I plan on completely 100%ing the game. The game's story is actually quite long, coming in at about 30 to 35 hours on average for completion, and depending on completing side quests, collecting field pages, and exploring both inside and outside the castle, as well as all of the mysteries that they can hold, you can see how you could easily pour tons more hours into it after. I think the spell system is great. You have your combat spells equipped to a sort of toolbar for use, and you learn more of them slowly throughout the story. I was shocked to learn that we would be allowed to use curses and was essentially sold on the spells based off that. Chaining spells together for combos flows really well and feels almost completely natural. The combat is easy enough to learn and it feels familiar in essentially no time. The character creation and gear system are great. There are so many different customization options to choose from in-game, and any piece of gear that you have previously found, you can still use the look of even if you found something else with better stats. Along with this, some side missions will give you specific appearance rewards, meaning you won't get a piece of gear but instead an appearance that related to the mission for any piece of gear of that type that you have equipped. But boys, I know, enough with the fancy schmancy talk, okay, let's get down to Chimp here. This game is really fucking good. The story kept me entertained, the spells are fun, and it made me giggle every time someone out of existence. Exploring and flying around is a blast. It's fucking busting. But as we know, every buster is not without his bust. And there were definitely a few. Due to my graphics card, sometimes the water liked to be all
funky.
And it would do this weird, like, stretchy, seizure-y looking thing, and I'm not really sure what's happening, but it persisted throughout the entire game, and while it was never too problematic or got in the way, it definitely got frustrating at times. My only other complaint is the lack of Quidditch. While I'm sure the mechanics would have been hard to implement, the line from Professor Black at the beginning of the game when he yells about getting rid of Quidditch for the year is super disappointing. I went in spoiler free, only having ever seen some combat and a single trailer, and was super excited for Quidditch and disappointed when I found out that I would have to do without. But hey, maybe we'll get it in DLC. Overall, Hogwarts Legacy is definitely worth the purchase for any Harry Potter fan. And if you aren't a fan of the franchise, don't worry. I played in a Discord with a bunch of my buddies, and the game actually got one of them to start watching the movies. It's super beginner friendly due to being a prequel, so it doesn't really expect any prior knowledge. Hogwarts Legacy definitely has the Chimp seal of approval. And if for some reason my review is the reason you go buy the game, then I hope you enjoy the wondrous wizarding world of Hogwarts Legacy.